And welcome back to A Podcast in Space and Time. This time we are talking about Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 2, Tooth and Claw. So we'll see you after the intro. So Holden.
Yo.
What's up?
Not much. I had a very stressful day at work today.
Oh, cool. That's
I have to deal with the general public, which is
same.
Which is always fun. Especially, it's even more fun during COVID.
During an actual pandemic,
mm-hmm.
And nobody's wearing masks. And
right.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be talking about Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
So how do you feel about this episode?
Dude, this episode, I don't know if it was just the past couple episodes were especially the last one, New Earth, but this one was just on point.
I think I do chalk a little bit of it up to just like kind of the meh quality of the last couple episodes, but
mm-hmm.
I really thought it was very well written, very well acted, and one thing I noticed in this episode in particular, the cinematography was very good.
Yeah, and you don't usually notice cinema photography.
Yeah, you usually don't, and you know, some people will say that you don't notice good cinematography, which there's probably some truth to that, but there were definitely a lot of shots in this episode that I thought
definitely
really kind of were above and beyond what we usually see in Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, and one of them, well, just a bit of it. It's like you don't actually see the full wolf a whole lot.
Yeah.
Which is really smart on their part because of the low budget and everything.
There was a really great shot where they were filming the staircase from above, and you just saw like a little bit of the wolf as it was running up the staircase.
Yeah, like you saw like his elbow or something.
Right.
Or an ear.
I thought that was brilliant.
The transfer... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there was a really good shot when they were trapped in the library, and David Tennant is leaning against the door from one side, and you see the wolf like lean in from the other side listening. I thought that was a really good one.
Mm-hmm. Another one was just the not showing the full transformation of the wolf. Like you started seeing the face morph into it a bit, but you didn't see like the fur grow on it. Which is which again is really smart for the budget, and like you really got to work through these things of not having a big budget, and when you can do that, it still looks really good.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where you could tell that like they didn't really have the money they wanted to pour in the time into like the model itself, but the way it was shot, the way it was animated. It really felt like there was a lot of care put into it, despite like the budget constraints. It reminded me a lot of the first Jurassic Park movie before those movies were just like way overblown and like had.
I've not seen a single Jurassic Park movie, so.
What you literally like, and I don't know how popular of an opinion this is, but like you really only need to watch the first one.
I know like the third one is notoriously awful.
Honestly,
I know your opinion on the newest one. What is it? Fallen Kingdom?
I enjoyed Fallen Kingdom for like very specific reasons.
You enjoy it for the reasons I love movies like The Room and Fateful Findings. Because some of the moments are just so ridiculous, it's just so enjoyable.
There was a plot twist at the end of Fallen Kingdom that is so buck wild that it just like it brought me so much joy.
I know what that plot twist is because I watched Nostalgia Credit, and he reviewed that. Of course, the child's actually just a clone.
Spoilers for Fallen Kingdom, which I'm sure everybody really cares about Fallen Kingdom spoilers.
Right. I mean, that movie is already a few years old now, so.
But yeah, the first Jurassic Park, though, like, obviously, you know, it was fairly early CGI, but it was just, the something about the way the dinosaurs were rendered and shot, and
Mm-hmm.
like the mixture of CGI with like physical models.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've had this exact discussion on this podcast before.
I think we have. We mentioned it like with our puppet Yoda versus CGI Yoda conversation.
Take a shot every time Kendall talks about Jurassic Park and how good the first movie is.
Well, still on the cinematography and everything. Just the POV shots were also really good.
I enjoyed the POV shots.
That way we don't see, like, you know where the wolf is going without actually having to show the wolf. That was another good way of using that budget.
Just the whole sequence of Sir Robert's like final moments against the wolf was kind of brilliant. Like
it really was.
We got a nice like distant shot of the wolf kind of like coming around the bend, and then there was like a really nice POV shot of the wolf like rushing towards him, and then we got like a few really quick shots of like basically when the wolf attacks, and it made that moment feel very like intense and visceral while still keeping like a PG level of of violence.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
still,
I thought that was,
yeah, like it's still pretty violent for PG. Like you don't see anything, but you hear it.
Yeah, you almost feel it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the sound effects were on point as well. And yeah, just that whole sequence was very, very good.
Like, those PG-13 rated movies where if they hadn't changed the color of the blood, like they'll make it an alien and the blood will be like green or something. If it was red, it would get an R rating.
Yeah.
But since it's green, it's fine for some reason, because that makes all the difference.
Yeah, for sure. I always find it really interesting how, and I think there's kind of an art to this, but how, especially like kids shows, will handle like really violent moments.
Right. Gravity Falls is the perfect example for that.
I think, yeah, Gravity Falls had some really good examples, which I think Gravity Falls kind of like pushed the limits of what could be on a PG show, because there was that one episode, Northwest Mansion Mystery,
yeah,
where like they have all the animal heads that are like
bleeding out,
and they're like pouring blood out of their mouths and eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is on Disney Channel. This is G-rated.
Actually, it was Disney XD for season 2.
Oh, Disney XD is where the real edgy stuff goes.
Yeah, and Alex Hirsch didn't even realize it would be on Disney XD. He was writing it for regular Disney Channel.
He was just like, it'd be really funny. Animal heads bleeding out on Disney Channel.
Yeah, and I've been rewatching the series lately, and at the top it says Youth 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, well, thank you for joining us for our Gravity Falls and Jurassic Park podcast.
Let's actually go back to the beginning of the episode, I guess.
We always do this. We were talking about this before we started recording.
Yeah, we kind of I made the joke that we don't necessarily talk about the episode out of order. We just have a very Christopher Nolan style of talking about the episode, where we do it out of order, but it's very intentional and artful,
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The way the shots are arranged just work together perfectly to really keep you guessing until the very end.
That's totally what we intended.
Yeah. And in the final shot of our audio podcast, you're going to see it and realize, oh my gosh, they are brilliant. I didn't realize this is what they were building up to this whole time.
Kendall, don't make empty promises. You're acting like I'm going to have to edit something majestic and wonderful, and I really don't want to.
I would not put that kind of pressure on you.
Okay, can we talk about the airbenders?
That whole sequence is so good. where they like whip off their cloaks and like start doing flips in the air, and
they're literally wearing orange.
they're wearing like the orange jumpsuits, like Aang, kind of like Aang wears.
Mm-hmm. And they even have the staffs,
the bald heads, the staffs.
Mm-hmm. All they need are arrowhead tattoos.
I would assume that they probably took the same inspiration from, I think it's Tibetan monks. That is what the Airbenders were based off of. I would assume they probably took the same inspiration there because they kind of have a similar aesthetic with like, you know, kind of the oranges and the reds and the shaved heads.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they read, especially with like all the flips and like acrobatics and stuff, they read very Airbender.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
A line that Father Angelo, played by Ian Hanmore, he said as soon as they put the wolf in the cellar or whatnot, may God forgive me. I am so sick and tired of that line. You hear it everywhere whenever you see a priest or something as a villain or something.
Yeah.
They always say, may God forgive me. I'm like, oh, didn't see that coming.
Either that or it's like, may God have mercy on your souls.
Right, yeah.
I do not know what that accent was.
I do not know either. This is like a mix of... I'm going Russian now.
You're going a little bit Russian.
Yes. Hey, at least my accent's better than Rose.
I've been oot and a boot.
I've been
oh my god.
Okay, yeah, Scottish accents. Yay, we got to hear David's accent.
We got to hear David's accent. We got to hear Rose doing a bad Scottish accent. Just like a really great Rose episode. She was. It really was.
This was
throughout.
like I know we give a lot of harshness towards Rose, but this was a really good one for her.
Yeah, I mean, she was very funny all throughout, and like, you know, Billie Piper is very good at delivering those funny lines. Just like the whole recurring bit of "we are not amused," like trying to get the queen to say it, and then the payoff at the end.
I also love that David Tennant's always surprised by what the psychic paper says, or just the doctor in general.
You would think after like, how old is he? 900?
Yep.
After like 900 some years, he'd be a little bit better at improv there.
Yeah.
Which I feel like later doctors, I feel like it was maybe a thing with Matt Smith where he always just kind of rolled with whatever the psychic said very well.
Although there was one we're not in spoiler section.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Too many prisms. Am I being rude?
I loved Rude Doctor. Like him, I love anytime the doctor is not super aware of like social cues.
Yeah.
It's very good. Let's see.
My next... sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
It was just about how the poison, not poison, but whatever it was, just... It worked too quickly. Should have taken a little bit.
Yeah, when
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but I mean,
I think, and it was during a montage, so it's a little harder to like judge time during a montage.
Yeah, but the montage was just going back and forth with Rose trying on dresses. How long was she trying on dresses?
Right. Yeah, I don't think the timing quite worked there. Yeah, it was an odd moment, especially since like, I mean, overall, there were very few things in this episode that really didn't work for me, but that was one of them. This is a small detail, but I appreciated David Tennant wearing like 2 extra layers under his suit for the Scotland weather. I thought that was a nice detail.
I mean, he's from Scotland, so.
Yeah, he knew.
He knew.
David Tennant was like, where are we going? Home? Oh, better grab a couple extra shirts.
And then Rose is just
running around in the nude.
She's just a wee naked child. Also, just real quick, we're talking about David Tennant's Scottish accent. If you really want a lot of fun and just hear David Tennant's accent, go listen to the How to Train Your Dragon audiobooks, because he reads them, and it is so wonderful.
Or go check out DuckTales, where he's in like every 8th episode because they can't afford him.
It's true. It's true.
I liked that the werewolf bite like basically passed the, I guess, like werewolf spirit, soul, whatever, onto the host. I thought that was an interesting twist on like kind of the whole werewolf thing, and just like the fact that the wolf had kind of been passing from person to person for generations. Right. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was. Again, just a really good spooky episode. Like
just a great spooky episode, yeah.
The moments, like when they first got trapped into the library, like you just heard, there was no soundtrack, no score, and you just heard the ruffling noises of the wolf outside the room. Like that was a legit spooky moment.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat. Like there was a bit, probably like 10 minutes in, like a 10-minute sequence in the show where I kind of like forgot to write notes because I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like a very good balance of like the intensity as well as the comedy. I think it really balanced the two out very well.
And a good line from David Tennant: "You want weapons? Books. We're in a library.
Best weapon in the world."
Yep.
I thought, yeah, that was great.
I've seen pictures of libraries having that quote written down in places.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those Doctor Who quotes that has kind of like spread beyond the fandom itself.
Right.
I just loved the Queen in general in this episode.
The actress
Pauline Collins.
Yeah, Pauline Collins, who, fun fact, got her career started as a stripper.
Huh. Interesting.
Collins entered motion pictures as a stripper, and in the exploitation film Secrets
ended up playing the Queen. Like, wow, girl, you are killing it.
Right.
Yeah, she was great. She had some really funny lines. I loved when she pulled out the handgun.
Yeah. I've had attempts on my life 6 times in the past 10 years. I have taken precautions for myself. I don't think you do it.
Before she pulls the trigger, she's like, "The correct form of address is Your Majesty." What a great moment.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen her again.
I would love to see her again. She killed me. Like every line was just so good.
Yep.
Her delivery and her expressions and
a good line I liked was from the wolf talking to Rose. There's something of a wolf about you, or it was something like that.
Yeah, that was a great Bad Wolf callback.
Yeah, it really was.
I loved the payoff of the telescope.
Yes.
Because it was almost like it felt like almost a throwaway line at the beginning when the Doctor is talking about like how the telescope is just way too complicated.
Right.
Way too many prisms. And it feels like a natural thing for the Doctor to kind of mention offhand, so you don't really pay too much attention to it.
Right.
But then finding out at the end that, the telescope is actually a trap for the wolf, I thought that was really good.
And just that whole premise of Prince Albert and the dude's father set up the trap for the trap.
Yeah.
It's just like, it was a very cool premise.
Yeah, setting up like the trap within the trap. Yeah, that was very cool.
Speaking of Christopher Nolan. Yep. Okay, I have one last note for the non-spoilers. What about you?
Yeah, I have one more.
I have a feeling it's the same one.
Okay.
Is it about the diamond?
No.
Oh, okay. If the diamond was never finished, why does it work in the telescope?
I did think of that, yeah.
But that's my biggest gripe with this episode, is like they keep saying it was never finished before he died. I'm going to go get it cut some more to his liking. Then why does it work?
Yeah, somehow it still works perfectly within the
Mm-hmm.
telescope. I mean, like, I guess on some level it could be that it was imperfect, but it
Mm-hmm.
still like got the job done.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't explain that. Like
Yeah, I think
they should have just left out the whole "it was imperfect" thing.
yeah, or at least like given one line to kind of explain. Well, it wasn't perfect, but it still was able to do what it needed to do. But yeah, it was weird that we didn't really get a resolution to that.
Right.
My last note was just like about how on the nose the ending felt. With the Queen talking about, we're going to set up an institute called Torchwood. Like the rest of the episode was very well written, and like there was a lot of subtlety to it. That just felt it felt like it was written by someone else and just like tossed in at the last minute.
You got to remember, this was a Russel T Davies episode.
Yeah, it felt like obviously they're building up to something, but it really felt like it was not subtle at all, and it felt kind of like a last minute addition.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got for the.
Do you even have anything for a spoiler section?
Not really. I guess like I don't know if this is really a spoiler, but I did wonder if the werewolf thing ever comes up again, which I don't think it does.
It doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that was I really
the only thing I had was the mention of Torchwood, and you just mentioned it, so.
Yeah, I mean obviously they're building up to something there.
Right.
I don't think the show is really hiding that, but we'll see what it is that they're building up to.
Well, wow, this is going to end up being a short episode. I feel like the better the episodes, the shorter our episodes are.
Yeah, I feel like we have less to talk about with really good episodes. I mean, we could like just keep doing some bad accents for another like 10 minutes.
Yeah. We could go out in the boot and do some accents.
That got very. Oh, there's a cartoon character that sounded exactly like.
Out in the boot.
It sounds like the droopy dog from I want to say Looney Tunes.
No, it's not. It's Hanna-Barbera.
Okay,
it's Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, whatever that dog is that talks like that, and
his name is
very droopy jaws.
Yeah, I think it is actually Droopy. I know who you're talking about.
Is it Droopy? Huh?
I think so.
It just kind of describes his whole look and voice. And anyway, thanks for joining our Hanna-Barbera podcast.
Well, actually, thanks for joining us on our Doctor Who podcast, because I think that's it for now. Join us next time as we discuss Doctor Who Series 2, Episode 3, School Reunion.
Yay! Mom, I don't want to go to school.